Well, I found another gem, and this is the Pentacon 50mm 1.8. This is a vintage lens too, manual focus of course. This lens was originally mounted on the Praktica MTL3, later MTL5, and was built I think until 1989 as the standard lens for these camera systems of just normal 35mm film cameras in the German Democratic Republic, where I was born and where this lens was produced. It's basically Contax, so it should give us Zeiss-like optics. It was produced in Dresden, Germany, and well, until this day I use this lens very often. I mount it on different systems like Fuji system, Sony, and years back I mounted this lens on the Nikon D800 and D7000. The D7000, well, it is able to flatten out the image of this lens. Right now we are on the Sony A7S, and this should give us a very tonal, a very rich, a very micro contrasty image with a good amount of 3D pop. The Nikon D7000 was able to flatten out even this lens, even the Zeiss Agate Tessa from 1952. This lens is very poppy. Our Pentacon lens right here has 6 elements in 4 groups, so it should give us a very good element ratio, and it does. Actually, it is the same as in the Helios 44-2, and the dispersion, well, is also the same. The only difference between this lens and the Helios should be the focal length of this lens. We have 50 in comparison to the 58 of the Helios. Well, since I'm already stepped out of the bushes, I can as well take my seat, or my, well, dodge, between the roses and this old, well, pretty filthy birdhouse that I found behind my large pine trees. So right now we are still on the A7S, and there is a bee on the lens. I hope it did not interfere with it. I have nothing against bees. The opposite is the case. I love bees, but they should not get in front of the lens. Well, we should have a good amount of rendition, good amount of tonality and 3D pop. Oh, the bee is still there. Now it's gone. So you can't go wrong with this lens really. It is manual focus, so it is a bit difficult if you're trying to film yourself. I focused on the rose and it got a bit of, I closed the aperture a bit, because wide open at 1.8, this lens is pretty much unusable. If you want to have the effect, then, well, shoot it wide open, it is very less sharp than right now even, and it's a bit milky. And you get, well, sun flares and so on. But could be a nice effect. It's like the TT Artisan 25mm 2 f2. This has the same artifacts and, well, it's a bit sharper, but the effect is better on this lens since it is a full frame lens. Do you see anything? Do you see the pop? Do you see the depth of this picture? I believe I do. At 2.8, I hope we are still about in focus. I focused on this bench right here, but that doesn't mean anything, because the curvature is different in the older lenses. It could as well be that I'm not in focus, even though I focused correctly. And as you can hear, my dogs are waiting for me, so I will make this a short one. If you have a full frame camera and want to have the old vintage lens effect that these lenses give you, you can get a very cheap one for about 20, 30, 40 euros or dollars, depends on where you are. It could be a bit rare in the United States or other parts of the world, but here in Europe this lens is pretty common and you can get it very, very cheap, and you can achieve a very good effect with this lens. So if you're into that, as I am, then this lens is right for you. And if you have someone to film you, you will have no problem focusing. For me it's a good bargain, and this lens is pretty old. My father used this lens during his trips to Southeast, well, not Southeast Asia, but to the former Soviet Union like Kazakhstan and so on. This lens was mounted on his MTL3, so it has a bit of a nostalgic character to me also. for me, these lenses are great for photography also. Well, you know, a little bit complicated because you have to focus yourself, but if you know what you're doing, the images will look great. It has a very nice bokeh and a very vintage touch to it. Now that we have talked about this lens, I think it's enough at that point. Let me know in the comments below if you like the effect this lens produces and the image that it gives you. So, see you in the next one.